I have a pair of my glasses that I got at Oliver Peoples, and I've always been buy like 2 or 3 of them. So I had these black ones. I went to go see him at the Greek years ago, and
the kind that Caesar wears.
The kind of Caesar wears. So I go, hey Caesar, I try these on. He goes, oh, these are nice. And I said, those are the ones that Jay-Z wears. So Jay-Z wears these big Daddy B's, Oliver Peoples, and he goes, oh, these are nice. I go, you can have them. I goes, what? For reals? Because, then he goes, I go, yeah. I mean, they just look perfect on him. And then he goes, mija, these are the ones JC wears. Fucking Z, motherfucker, JC. Hello, everyone. Hola, mis amigos. You're listening to Oh My God, Hi, Hijo de Dios, Hola. With me, George Lopez, porque ¿sabes qué? Let's do the show, porque I got a lot of things to do. I gotta go to that dry cleaner ahí. My kid fell, se pegó la cabeza. I gotta go get some Neosporin Paul.
You know what George is?
Oh, I'm sure he's around here somewhere.
What's his name? George?
Lopez.
George Lopez.
Oh my God!
OMG.
OMG! Hi!
Oh my God, hi!
About 5 o'clock, they came and told me, they said, hey, we've had 2 emergencies. Yours is not scheduled till at least 8:50, and we're not even sure if it's going to go then.
What the fuck? Is there only one fucking doctor working now?
This was the valve specialist, the heart guy. They called in another surgeon even to help him out. The procedure took so long. They brought him in. They saved his life, at least for the night. So my procedure was just going to be pushed back a little bit. I mean, they wanted
What if that nurse came out and they said, hey, listen, a couple emergencies came in. One guy is severe. I mean, we had to stop his heart, restart it.
That's what they had to do with this guy.
And, okay, well, then I'm on the right path.
Yeah.
And then we were in there, and we found that he had a little baby heart attached to the regular heart. We took that one out. It's right now, it's in a fucking hamster in Lancaster. The hamster's still alive. We're going to bring it back Friday from 3 to 5. Put it in a person, Lo Chinito probably. That person's going to live. So we have to put you on the back burner, okay? Then you open the door to the doctor's office. They're both in there like that. Did you fucking believe it or not? My hands are shaking. I'm not going to touch anybody right now. They could tell you anything and we believe it.
Well, they could.
What are the people that say, remember that guy did you watch that thing on Netflix? He's like a curandero from Brazil.
No.
I don't think so. No.
You wake up with his fucking dick on your arm, man. You're like, what the fuck? He puts you to sleep and then you wake up and you're like, ah!
I watched that other one you told me about.
Crema all over you. You're like, what the fuck kind of church is this?
I watched that. You're speaking of that. I watched that other one you told me about the octopus.
Oh, yeah. What'd you think?
What the hell is that? What do you think of that? Is that the most amazing thing?
That's fascinating stuff. Once I started watching, I was sitting there saying, oh, this is fucked up. Why am I going to watch this? And then it just kind of sucks you in. You keep watching it. And it was almost sad when they had to leave. He didn't even leave a phone number or nothing.
It was, I don't know if they made love. They were holding hands in the water at high tide. Crazy. You see it? You saw it?
I know.
It's the wildest thing.
Yeah.
That an octopus, I guess that guy, did he lose his son or something? Somebody died and he was kind of lost, and he always had been into like diving and stuff, so he started to dive, and then he saw this octopus, and they started fucking dating. I don't know.
So as someone who hasn't seen it, how did they actually
and then octopus have like 1,000 little octopus babies, and then they put one under the microscope and had exactly the same eyes as that dude. There's only one.
Check the DNA.
There's some cows out there that, remember we talked about that, are born with people's heads? There's some shit going on, man. Yeah. I don't know what happened to Oscar other than, seeing him here and seeing him look good, sweating.
Yeah.
He was drinking just coffee.
Yeah.
And then, what was it, Wednesday maybe that he had it? And I looked on Instagram and
I think Friday's when I found out. I don't know when it broke.
He was in the hospital, which already tells you that it's severe.
Yeah.
And he looked bad. So,
he was unshaven, laying down.
yeah.
The lighting was poor.
But what's going on, man? Like, what's happening with all that?
And he was vaccinated too, right?
He was vaccinated.
So it was a breakthrough sort of case.
Let me see if I can get a hold of him.
I've been hearing that it's like, maybe as far as like the boosters go, it seems like after 5 months seems to be something of like a cutoff point where they're starting to see more people get breakthrough cases.
Okay, so as people of wherever they podcast of the world,
You're gonna stick.
you see people. Yeah, right, that one right there. You see people wearing masks going into a store, and they're all touching the doorknob without gloves. I mean, isn't that putting at risk? If you go to, they're all touching money and change and.
I think it's mostly, and I haven't been as on top of this. I should have been, but I think it's mostly because it's aerosolized, or it's like particles in the air, basically. Like I remember early on in the pandemic, it was like, be careful
sneeze?
with the food, wipe down everything you touch, etc. And still, always good to wash your hands on that thing. But I think as far the mask, the hand stuff is going to be way less effective than the mask stuff.
The old homicide cop that I am, it says, when it's your time, it's your time. I don't give a shit.
Is that what you
do.
guys believe?
Yeah, I believe that. When it's your time, somebody up there just says, okay, 3:52 today, it's his time.
My grandma used to say, if it's your time, it's your time. Genetics, people get sick as a kid, I've seen a lot of people that have been sick because of my own kidney thing, but of kids that are sick, and then them saying, hey, can you go to the hospital and talk to this kid, or go see this kid. Kids were born with leukemia and stuff like that don't even live a year. I mean,
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough.
Isn't it? It's tough.
Those are tough. I hated kid cases. Kids are terrible. When it's your time, I remember I bought a motorcycle. I had a Harley. And my mom is saying, "Por qué, mijo? You're going to fall dying." And I said, "Mom, when it's your time, it's your time." Look, I was just a couple of weeks ago at Cerritos air crash disaster. Mm-hmm. I said, people having a barbecue in their backyard. They had no idea a plane was going to land and wipe out the whole family in the house. It was their time. They were doing nothing wrong. I asked my partner, Ray Verdugo, I said, how much time do you think, we're out there looking at this disaster. I said, how much time do you think the passenger had on that Aeromexico from the time they impacted to the time they landed? How long they must have been? He looked up and he looked down, he looked at me and he says, about enough time for 3 ay and 2 ay Dios míos.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. I mean, we're coming on the 20 years of 9/11.
Yeah.
There's a lot of documentaries out there. There's one on National Geographic History Channel, like 6 of them, 6 different episodes, and
I was asked to be a guest speaker for 9/11 Saturday for the VFW. And
it's coincidence because I was asked to speak at Mohammed Atta's daughter's quinceañera. No.
But I can't. I can't be there.
How come?
He'll be at the quinceañera.
I'm going to be flying back from Dallas. I leave for Dallas tomorrow.
Wait a minute, where are you going to be in Dallas?
I'm going over there to be a speaker at a Dallas conference for
On Saturday?
No, I'm leaving tomorrow. I speak on Thursday or Friday, but I don't come. My flight doesn't come back till Saturday, and it doesn't land until 11:30, and that'll be done with over there at the BFW. It's a morning thing.
Did they move it for you?
Pardon me? No,
They move it?
no. They had already set out the schedule. They sent out flyers. They did everything, and they just wanted me to dress because it's a veteran, but it's really, I think, for 9/11 to remember them. Mm-hmm. And so since I've had both sides of the fence, they wanted me to be there for them. But I couldn't do it. You're going to be speaking tomorrow, though. I heard on the news.
Big Boys.
Big Boys, Hollywood Star.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
Yeah. There's testing there, too. You have to make sure that, you're tested and good for it, but also won't let you inside in the vicinity of that thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have no problem with testing. I have no problem with any of it. I don't panic over any of it. I don't get scared. I don't get touch that, touch this, shit. If I touch myself, I'll touch anything.
We're all negative too, right? Just so everyone knows, everyone tested negative. Yeah. We're all good.
Yeah, even though Oscar was here spraying his fucking germs everywhere through his coffee.
It was weird when you just started spitting everywhere. That was.
It's a good thing no calzones were flying. They would have spread those germs all over the place.
Just the idea that calzones probably put them in the air. Hey, do you know what these are for? Do you know what this is? Somebody told me this. You know what this is?
It's a Frisbee.
If you haven't finished drinking the beer, you put it on, you put it in your refrigerator, and it doesn't go flat.
Why?
What?
Huh?
Oh, that's genius.
Where's that? Huh? Coors Light. Well, fuck them, mama. Hey, so I said, the guy says, I put that thing on and it doesn't let the beer go flat. I said, what thing? The holder.
Yeah.
You mean those black little plastic circles? Stupid ass. You put it on like that.
Yeah, those things are. I've like discovered so many things about those. They've got the handle built in the middle, which took me a while to find. They've got resealable, like you're doing. You can take it off, put it back on. It's that's some high technology you got.
I like to take credit for it.
Más chingón.
Quite stupid, like I don't know what it is, but I'm the one. No, but we used to just put a napkin and
Yeah, right.
the hole with the kids, and they go, hey. Even if that soda was in there for 7 years, you couldn't have another soda till you finished drinking that one, and then it would go flat. So you were essentially drinking fucking black olive juice because they wouldn't let you get another soda.
Flat sodas.
Carbonation.
You know,
So what else is going on?
Speaking about, I want to one more thing about Oscar.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, I don't watch all the shows. You know, we do them. You know, they're here.
What show did you watch?
Oscars.
This show.
George Lopez only got high.
Oh yeah.
And I watched the show.
It's different when you watch it than if you're
Yes,
there, right?
Yeah.
But I laughed just as hard watching the show than
No,
I
it's
did
pretty
when
good.
I was here. So it's legit.
You
It's,
were
it's
inside
good.
a long time, though.
And I could see my face when you said, "Okay, watch out, he's gonna cry right now." When I start talking about that, I could see the look on my face. Hardy going, "Oh."
Yeah.
It was a good show.
Oscar, yeah, thank you. Yeah, Jeff, thank you. You know, it's fascinating, man, because it's never as simple as just somebody just having to do their job. Like Oscar didn't want to fight. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Then he said he was sexually abused, which I didn't want to get into here because it's so close to the fight. You know,
Yeah, sure.
you don't want to. I didn't bring him here to question him about being sexually abused, but you know.
But I didn't know that either myself, so that was.
But then his father being tough and his mother passing away. And his mother was hard on him too.
I remember the interview. I remember Fred Rogan. I remember the when he won the fight. I was watching it back then. And I'm not blowing smoke up you, but you never cease to amaze me. You must do nothing all goddamn day but look and study history, the historical facts that you know, about, in this case, about Oscar, about criminals, about this. You know,
How do I know that? Fucking Medici probably.
I don't know.
What are you guys talking about with that murders?
You know, I used to think I was a good fight fan, but damn, I'm sitting here listening to you, and there's just so
It's
many.
amazing how and I you know, I don't study it or anything. I think it just comes around, or sometimes on the phone you can look it up like that. But not easy for Oscar, because even you think you win the gold medal. What about? He got his ass kicked by that guy from Germany. He'd never gotten his ass kicked before.
Yeah.
That would have scared the shit out of me, as he said. He walked in the
my
ring
God,
and saw him. Oh my God!
And then he's like,
Hi.
he's looking around, he's kicking everybody's ass, and then he's like, "Where's Germany?"
Yeah,
He said, "Like, where's the guy from Germany?" And it was the guy that he was going to fight.
yeah, that was awesome.
And that could put a lot of guys out. Just that, you know.
I went back and watched it again because I'd seen it before, the press conference and the fight between him and Mayorga, and it was awesome. You know, knowing the background on it. You know, again, listening to what he said here, it was an all around.
But also,
show.
you know, like he said, you know, like from Tuesday on, you can't be around anybody because you're essentially like a wild animal.
Like a racehorse.
Yeah, in the pen or whoever's around you, big sweet. I think I mean, I don't know what everybody's routine is, but you probably sleep. You don't really work out a lot, but you got to do a little cardio. And then at the weigh-in, you can't, like the Pacquiao weigh-in, he took his robe off and he looked incredible. Like the way he said the other guy looked ripped, he looked like that. But nobody knew he was dehydrated because he had gotten to the weight maybe a month early, and he got there too early. And then he had to try to keep the weight off, and he was dehydrated. So when he took his robe off and he went like that, he was chiseled. And then when he got into the ring, he had like flab on his belly and his back. And it was from the hydration and eating that he just put on 13, 20 pounds maybe in a day.
That's what happened to
crazy
me.
to stuff people.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
So that was not a good fight. I didn't know that he felt like he had been forced to retire.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
I just thought that was a tough fight, and that maybe it was, his time. But nothing in his life seemed easy, even from starting the fight to losing his mother and the gold medal and all that stuff, and then through, not being considered Mexican enough by the Mexicans, and then beating Chavez twice. And the second time he said he beat him. I think one of the most interesting turns is Chavez, which makes you really happy that a guy like that finally found somewhere, and even the place he's trained to be clean and to help other people be clean, because that dude was...
Otherwise, he'd be dead pretty soon.
He'd be dead, yeah. He'd be dead. But that's, he was going to fight. I'm not sure. I haven't talked to him if he's going to continue maybe to fight later. I think Holyfield is taking his
yes, Holyfield, they've announced it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. Holyfield's going to fight. Was it Belfort who he was going to fight?
Yeah.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Okay.
That's a good fight. Then would Holyfield fight Oscar?
Oh, no.
That's a tough one. I think fighting this got to be the toughest.
I can't imagine. I just can't imagine.
As a detective, do you get shot? You never got shot at by a criminal, right? Because you guys usually come in when it's over.
Yeah, when I get there, he's dead. My
Gone.
My day begins when theirs ends.
Right?
That's right.
And then, so, let's say something happened. Okay, a couple of things happened this last week or so. Momo, and thank God, he eats every hour, small meals. But he was at the Ha Ha Cafe, and those comedians that, unfortunately, there were 4 of them.
Oh, yeah.
And then 3 passed, and then the girl
lived.
Mm-hmm. But the girl said to Momo, can I go ahead of you because I'm going to go with these guys? And they went to Venice, and they got Coke with phenolin in it.
Yeah.
What's the investigation of that? So you go over there. That had to be quite a sight, man, to see people ODing. I don't know what happens. You probably throw up or convulse. And
well, you're going to look around. ODs usually have frothy mouth. They get froth coming out of their mouth.
That's what you can tell?
Yeah, you're going to look around, and if there's no signs of violence, no sign, nothing disruptive, nothing's out of the ordinary, well, then you got to think, okay, you're thinking possibly OD. So when you think possibly OD, then you got to do victimology, find out, hey, did these guys use drugs? Were they into drugs? You got to find out their victimology, what they're about. And then if there's no other, because you go in it looking at it as a murder.
Okay.
But you're eliminating why it's not a murder. Okay, I don't see acts of violence. I don't see a break-in. I don't see any defensive wounds.
You have to look if there's any left on the table or any on the...
I don't see any of this. Is there debris? What you're talking about, left over on the table? Is there any packets, any this, any that? And then once you get to that determination, if there's no other explanation obvious to you, well, then you wait for toxicology. And then tox will come back and tell you if it is an OD or not. And then, depending on how far they want to take it, if there's some evidence that comes up right away, where did the dope come from?
Can an OD be case closed if it comes back?
Yeah.
And they OD'd and you're just like, okay, well, they OD'd.
Yeah. The only one that I've ever seen prosecuted that went beyond just an OD was John Belushi.
I was going to say, yeah.
John Belushi's was...
Oh, what happened there?
Well, they got the girl that gave him the shot. Kathy Smith. It was Smith last name that gave him the juice, and that's what happened. They prosecuted her. That's the only one that I've seen.
Yeah.
That, to my recollection.
They were together, they were out together that night. Him and a few other well-known people. I think Richard Pryor was one of them, and they were at the Comedy Store, and then he left.
No, did Richard Pryor use dope?
Okay, I heard occasionally.
There's rumors.
Yeah. On occasion, just as a pick-me-up, long days on the set. But
brilliant comedian, though.
Brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Troubled again. But let's see.
A correlation here.
Correlation of, yeah. And then, she went to prison.
So did she knowingly give him bad drugs or bad?
No, it was
No,
speedball.
it was. I don't remember if it was an
Heroin and cocaine?
Yeah, but I don't. It may have just been an overdose.
Yeah.
Too much. I really don't remember the facts. I remember I was working homicide at the time because we screwed with our team lieutenant. I wasn't part of it, but the guys called him up and said, "Hey, pretending to be a news station. He was at home." Called him up and said, "Hey, we'd like a statement, on the murder of John Belushi." He says, "Hey, that wasn't my case." "Well, we have you down as making a statement, yada." And he says, "You don't understand." And they said, "No, we do. What do you want us to say? Your name is down here." And she says, "I got nothing to say." He hung up and he called the bureau and he's all pissed off. He says, "Who in the hell is giving out my name?" Yada, yada. So the lieutenant that was on duty there called the guys at the Code 7, which is the local bar down the street at First in Los Angeles, called him up and said, "Okay, guys, stop fucking with them."
That's what it was called, Code 7?
Yeah, it's called the Code 7.
Still there?
No, it's gone. And that's where the new police department.
Yeah. They should have just left it in there like a food court.
They even had a sandwich in there named after me.
They did?
Yeah, it was the team Gil Carrillo Team 3. It was roast beef, cheese, Ortega chilies, the whole chilies on there, grilled. Oh, it was good.
Wow.
It was real good.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
That sounds great. Was that like an order that you got a lot, or did they just name one after you?
They named. I loved it so much when they redid their menu. They said, "We're going to name it after you." Oh, that's all I'd ever read.
The ultimate honor.
Ortega chilies. What is it? They're from the can Ortega, or they?
Probably. It wasn't
longer,
hot.
It's a longer
green.
chile.
Yeah.
But it's not a jalapeno chile. What is that?
No, it's just it would
chile,
be
green
like
chile.
yeah, it's long, kind of like over here they call them Anaheim chilies, green chili Ortega. Or I almost sent you a picture. You could have seen a picture of me the other day. I roasted 2 25-pound boxes of Hatch chili from New Mexico.
Right, there you go. Hatch.
Yeah, that's the best of the
But
best.
chile relleno is with the cheese
Cheese inside the chili,
of it, and then
dip it in egg, and then they fry it.
that's pretty good too.
Oh, they're the bomb. You know where they make a good one? My favorite? At Mario's Tacos, where we brought the burritos in that day.
Yeah.
They make a good one. I'll stop by next time I come in. I'll
Have you
bring
been
some
over there at
chili
Steven's Steakhouse since we talked last?
Yeah, I was just there the other day. I was just there the other day.
And what's going on over there?
Steven's Steakhouse they're alive and well. They're doing good. I met some guy there, an old Vietnam buddy of mine. Well, the buddy, I hadn't seen him since Vietnam. And he's got a son that lives in West Hollywood. He's quadriplegic. This guy lives back in Michigan, but his son wants to be independent. He's doing well. He comes out here, he pays 24-hour care for him. He wants to be on his own. He wants to be able to go places, do stuff. So he says, "Hey, I'm going to be out there for a few days. How about let's hooking up?" I haven't seen him since Vietnam. So we went to Steven's Steakhouse. And then Friday, when they shut me down from my heart procedure, my daughter said, "We better go get something good to eat." And I said, "Okay, let's go to Steven's Steakhouse."
Oh, because you had to fast.
Yeah, I had to fast. So I hadn't had since 6 o'clock in the morning, not even water across my lips.
Wow.
And it's now 6 o'clock in the evening. Let's go to Steven's. I can give me a glass of wine, nice steak. It was good.
So when's the procedure scheduled for now?
They're supposed to call me up today and reschedule it. And it can't be this week because I'm going to be out of town, but it'll be the next week.
And you feel okay just the way you are, but when that's done, you're going to feel a lot better, won't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm looking forward. I'm excited. I just want to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's crazy times right now, huh? The 9/11. So the comedians there. That one girl is in there. Ah, man. I mean, that shit is. They're cutting it with fentanyl.
This fentanyl came out long after I was a cop, but it's supposed to be some nasty stuff. People are ODing left and right over that shit.
It's crazy. It's just like 10,000 times more effective than other, I guess, opioids or something like that.
Heroin?
Whatever it is.
Yeah, and they can manufacture it themselves.
It's crazy.
It's super concentrated.
Yeah.
It's like a tiny pill, but it's like.
And that's what they suspect. Was it Michael K. Williams passed away from as well?
Yes.
Omar from The Wire. He passed yesterday, 2 days
Yesterday.
ago?
Was that heroin or was his heroin?
He had been. I think they said he had been using. He knew he had an addiction. Knew he had a problem, and he was using cocaine.
Man, it's very sad, man. This stuff is out there. It's killing people. coast to coast, and
It's rough. I think a lot of people too bring a lot of like judgment to people who die like that. It's like, oh, just goes to show you, don't do drugs. Something sort of simple like that. But it always feels, I don't know. To me, it always rings way more tragic than that.
As long as they're not ripping me off, burglarizing, they do what they got to do. It doesn't affect me.
yeah. So I think with him, they were trying to pursue the person that may have given it to him.
And now with these comedians, you're the first guy I thought of, and I didn't even think about Momo at first. And then I looked at that last picture, one of the pictures that was posted recently. Momo's way in the back, and I made some comment. He looks bigger in the mirror, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And so, how does this affect the comedic world? You know, his friends. You know, you knew these guys. You know,
I didn't know them personally, but I think there might have been owners or friends of the people that own the Ha Ha Cafe.
the day that you came in here after the anniversary of Kobe, you were visually affected. You know, you were sad, and I could, being around you, you know, it was a little harder than your regular day. But I just didn't know if it affected you with these people in the comedic world.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, you know, it's kind of not a close community, right?
I mean,
I don't know if it's ever been.
yeah. I mean, you tell me, right?
I mean, I've
like
been doing
I know
it a long time. I don't think it's a close community. I think that, you know, there's some people that are friends and some people that, there were a lot of them in Vegas last weekend that I was there. Like Joe Coy was over there, and then those guys were out there, and Maz, Jobrani, and then those guys. But, you know, even Ruben was with me. It's a different show. You come to the backstage, there's nobody in there. Very few people. Yeah. So I think over there, those guys are used to maybe more camaraderie than what I have, because I've been doing it for so long that you do the show and kind of lock it down, have a couple of drinks, relax, and then go back to the room, because it's like, what are you going to try to prove in one night?
If anything, it just feels like it gets a little lonely.
Did you get time to deliver any tacos when you were over there?
You know what? I did not, man. That thing fell through. But the tacos are doing good for Grub or Next Bite, so yeah, I didn't.
Yeah. Keep buying.
My
George
daughter, I
Lopez
hope
tacos.
she listens to this podcast next week, because she keeps telling me, "Oh, Dad, I went and bought all the carne asada they had at the store. I bought them out. I bought about 10 packs. That's all they had left till they get some more in." And so now, officially on record, I hope she understands that her dad likes that stuff. Maybe she could, you know, cut a package for her dad.
Right?
Yeah, you'd think.
Hint.
The carne asada is pretty good, man. It got in Vallarta restaurants. It's and that was a tough one to get into. But they, you know, the prices are, you know, it's like Momo keeps track of the price of carne asada like gold. He's like, right now, carne asada's up, and you're down. So a lot of people are trying yours. You know, I keep track of it every day. You know that like. You know, like gold. You came out at the right time.
It's like the market is dipping, so I see opportunity here.
So we'll have to see what transpires and all this stuff. But you know, yeah, it's a part of these things that, I mean, Prince. You know, I knew Prince. That was fentanyl related, because you know he had a hip replacement, and he was really, you know, very, I mean, elusive character, kind of. But, you know, in that time, I'm not sure. I think it's gotten better. But if you got a hip replacement, you had to go back in there at least 1 or 2 times to go and get it tweaked, because it's not something that you went in there and they did right the first time.
Oh, really?
I mean, Paul Stanley, you know, Kiss had his hip replaced and had to go in a couple times, maybe have a couple procedures, and lost half an inch on that leg. So as a performer, you'd have to put like a half an inch spacer in the shoe or the boot, and now to balance them out. But he went in there, you know, the legs were the same length, and then came out there and there was half an inch shorter. So, I mean, I think they've gotten better at it, but it took a little maintenance, and I think he didn't want to do that. And he was trying to kind of self-medicate or you know, kind of take the pain away yourself.
Yeah.
You better hope that doctor wasn't self-medicating,
man,
before they went into surgery. If he's back in that room going,
is he out yet?
Just tell him there's an emergency.
It's hard to trust anybody now, you know. before you would be concerned with what the doctor's credentials are, and now there's people that are doctors and they're in fucking shopping centers, man. They're in, you know.
You know, the good thing is with my procedure, the lady that they came to advise, her husband had done, he's still alive, you know, done good. They'd hit her knee.
Okay.
And but that doctor was the same doctor, and it was his valve that was messed up. So it was the same doctor who do my procedure was working on him, and he had another emergency back to back. So I'm sitting there saying in the back of my mind too, maybe I don't want this doctor after he's done two surgery. Like, get some rest.
Right. I think that's
good thinking.
There's probably some things at 10 hours at a time. So it's not something you want to
So
do.
let's just wait until you're well rested.
Yeah. Would you look up fentanyl?
Yeah, I looked it up. I was curious about it.
When did it? How long has it been out?
Let's see. So it was originally made, because it's a synthetic chemical, in 1960, and it was approved for medical use in 1968. And it's just been slowly going up since then, but only recently has it been the big sort of like illegal drug, overdose drug, and has since 2016 been the most common cause of overdose deaths. More than 20,000 of opioid-related deaths, which is about half, so about 40,000 deaths in that time.
And it's much easier to get. I believe it's easy
to get on the
to
street. On the street, they're cutting it with it. They're cutting cocaine with it.
Yeah, the last line of the Wikipedia summary says, compared to heroin, it's more potent, has higher profit margins, and because it's compact, has simpler logistics, can be cut into or even replace entirely the supply of heroin and other opiates. So it's just the perfect thing to go wrong in every situation.
Man, that's what's going on with that. And I think, you think the pandemic has anything to do with people using or out of boredom? Why would you want to?
I've definitely read that like
OD
rates of whatever have gone up over the past 18 months. People just trying to cope.
I don't know, because I don't think like them. I got to think otherwise. So I don't know what's going through their mind. The Devil's Workshop is an idle mind. So if you got an idle mind, you may do stuff that you wouldn't want to do normally.
Yeah, I mean, is it?
Not me.
I mean, are you saying?
I found myself drinking more wine during the pandemic.
I think it's good for you.
Yeah.
I think that's anything that can relax you, but that wanted to back off of extinguishing your light in there. But all of that stuff, and then I think after the drug dealer for Michael K. Williams, I think they're going to try to find.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, they also found the drug dealer for the Angels, the supplier. They're going after him. The Angel baseball player that lost his life, they're going after him.
Oh, really? I didn't hear that.
He was part of the staff.
Oh, he was part of the staff?
Yeah, he was in the locker room there. He was part of the locker room staff.
Bro, that's a violation.
Man. You always got to know somebody where you can get the stuff from. But I mean,
Yeah.
you don't want it to damage anybody. But different times for sure, man. Shit. And even, I don't know, do younger people just do it to have fun? Do they go to Vegas and are they?
I mean, they call them recreational drugs for a reason, right?
I don't know. I don't run in those circles,
I don't know.
And I don't know anybody that does, so it's hard for me to say. It's hard for me to judge. I know you see people, I get concerned when I see people that are acting angry, they're paranoid, they're this or that. That's a good indicator.
Yeah.
There's something else going on.
Well, I think if we live in these times where even your neighbors, I mean, I don't know any of my neighbors. I don't want to know my neighbors. They might have mistaken me a couple weeks ago for not living in my house. That's not good. Like everything that a neighborhood used to be to me is not anymore. Like you would love thy neighbor, treat your neighbor as you would treat yourself, your family.
Yeah.
Just a lot of people out there concerned about other people's business.
Sure.
Even in pet adoption, we have that girl in here that people are returning their dogs or even returning them or letting them go because of what's going on.
It's on the news right now that they're having problems with them. And I want to say, I don't know if it's the county or somebody, adoption age is now starting
They're going to evaluate whether
Exactly.
if he needs to come back. Well, then they're just going to fucking let him go in Griffith Park like in the old days. They're trying to take him back with some dignity. And they go like, oh, well, we evaluated that. You can watch this dog. All right. And then Man, tough time. What do we have? Do we have voicemails and all that stuff?
Yeah, we got some voicemails. We can do articles. We can do whatever.
I don't think
we've gotten more from the puta.
Hey.
But she is welcome anytime.
In training, PIT? Put that in training.
Good. Let's see. Oh, also, Gil was telling me off mic a crazy story about a Michael Mann movie that he worked on. I wanted to bring. I don't know if you wanted to.
Sure,
if you want to recount it. This was fascinating.
It was Michael Mann during the movie Heat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was.
Did you work on Heat?
Yeah, I worked on Heat.
You worked on Heat.
And showing him how to do some interviews. So they wanted me to sit down. It was supposed to be myself and my old partner Gil Parra. Gil Parra was sick. He was fighting cancer at the time. So they said, Gil, you go in there and we'll get a captain that's out here. As a friend of Michael Mann. He's a captain from Chicago PD. You and him do this interview. And I'm saying, Michael, Chicago works different. We don't put hands on people over here. They put hands on people. And he said, no, it'll work out. It'll work out. He brought with him his wise guy friend. The guy was a wise guy back in Chicago. So we're sitting down there, and I start asking him, we're doing an interview. They're filming it. You got actors. You got Pacino.
They're all watching?
They're all watching right there, Michael T. And so I started asking this guy a question. He says, you lead the questions. So I started asking the guy questions, but he's playing hardball. He's playing like an old con, What's your name? Bobby. Bobby, do you have a last name? Yeah. Well, what is it? Smith. Where do you live? On the east side. Not giving me answers that I want. So he's playing hardball. So I had that day, I had a buddy of mine, Bobby Tucson, covering an autopsy for me. But it was a simple autopsy. It was a gunshot wound through and through to the head. So I said, I'm going to go over here. I got to do this, Bobby. Would you cover the autopsy for me? He says, no problem. So we're sitting there and I'm talking. And the captain realizes that this guy from Chicago was being a wise guy, being an asshole. So he just reaches up and slaps him across the face hard. Just reaches up, motherfucker, bam! And just then my beeper's going off, because we used to use beepers back then, pagers. So my pager's going off, and I said, excuse me, gents, I'll be right back. I got to answer this page. So I got up and I walked away from the table, and there was a public phone on the wall behind us. So I go back there and I call the guy up. I said, hey, Bobby, you called. He says, yeah, I just like you called the autopsy, and then all of a sudden you hear this, screaming going on. He says, Gil, where you at? What's going on? Give me an address. I said, no, Bobby, I'm on a movie set. Don't worry, everything's okay. And he says, okay, well, just like you said, it was going to be and then you hear this blood-curdling scream, worse than the first one. He says, Gil, give me an address. We'll send the cops down there. I'll be rolling right now. And then you hear Michael Mann saying, okay, cut. And I said, you see, Bobby, it was just, it's movie stuff.
What did he do? He fucking had him down on the ground? Waterboarding?
He had his balls in his hand. And he says, motherfucker, you got something I want, and I got something you want. Now, I want the information in your fucking head right now. And then he gives him another twist, and the guy, blood-curdling screaming. He says, Michael Mann, this is, okay, cut. That was good. And it was brilliant. Then I interviewed Danny Trejo. In that movie, Danny was one of the bad guys.
Yep.
And Danny, as we know, did time in the joint.
Yep.
He's a dropout. So Danny's right there. I start interviewing him. All of a sudden, I just tell him, he's not coming across real good. And I told him, you see a P on my forehead? You see a tattoo of a P? And he says, no. I said, that's because I'm not a pendejo. I said, you're going back to where you came from when I'm done with you. They treat you like a little chavala in there. This guy starts sweating. Michael Mann says, cut. Danny looks at me and says, ching, God, I haven't felt like that for years, man. I felt like I was back in it all again. You were sweating the shit out of me. And that was all part of just
a prep?
Yeah, so they could see what it was like to interview people. And Al Pacino, nice guy, give me a hug. He says, God damn, you're great. I said, well, not great. That's the job. I do this for a living. You act, I do that for a living.
Wow.
So it was pretty cool.
But there is a way to cut through the bullshit of somebody trying to stall a police officer out.
Oh, sure.
You're not going to be able to stall a cop out.
Yeah.
If you're good, you can.
They know the answer already before they're asking.
Oh, sure.
They're not, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
You don't want to ask a question you don't know the answer to.
Right. Well, Danny, I met Danny, you've known him for a while, And he said that when they were doing Heat, they went into a restaurant. I don't want to say the restaurant because it could still be something that, you know. And Danny was acting in the restaurant, and he's looking around. He's like, shit, I think we robbed this place. Before,
Well, you know,
Back in the day.
we went into a restaurant during the shooting of the movie. They called it "Want to Have Dinner," and it was myself and 2 other homicide cops, my partner Gil Parr, and a guy named Ray Verdugo. And we go down there, and we're having dinner at this restaurant, and they just want to see how we interact because these guys are gonna be cops. So we're talking, we're telling stories, telling jokes. And then Michael T, that's the guy that came out as Bubba Gump, and he tells a story about when he was in Georgia, because that's where they filmed a lot of the movie. He says, we're down there. He says, one day after a long day of shooting, he says, you know, we get ready to leave. I see some extra that had been there all day, and, you know, he's having car trouble. And so I just walked out. I said, hey, pal, you need a ride? I can give you a ride back in town. You want? And the guy says, oh, would you? And he says, yeah. He says, come on. Okay. And then the guy runs back to his car real quick. He forgot a bag. So he got the bag and got inside Michael T's car, and he started driving. And Michael T says he keeps noticing the guy keeps opening up the bag and looking inside. Finally, Michael T says, hey, partner, if you don't mind me asking him, it must be something important. What you got in the bag there? He says, the guy looked at me and said, none of your business. He says, I slammed on the motherfucking brakes. Get the fuck out of my car right now, motherfucker. Get your own ride. The guy steps out of the car. Michael T punches it. The guy left the bag inside the car. Oh. And so he drove away. And I said, no shit. He left the bag inside the car. And I said, did you ever look inside? He says, yeah, I did. I said, what was inside? He says, none of your business, motherfucker.
He didn't tell you?
Oh, dude.
Great fucking, it was just a joke.
Oh, it was a joke.
He just reeled me in, and when you asked,
yeah.
none of your business, motherfucker.
Classic.
It was a great joke.
That's fantastic.
Well, you know, I, in keeping with that, I know a ex-athlete that the time of the O.J. Simpson alleged double homicide, that a girl that was allegedly involved with O.J. Simpson ended up with that Louis Vuitton suitcase. Mm-hmm. And she had it at her house, and then she knew this ex-football player, and she asked if he could keep it at his house until they needed it. And he said yes. So he kept it in his garage. I think it was in the garage for 2 years. And I said, you ever look inside of that thing? He said, never. Because I put it in the garage, I put it on the shelf, and I tried to pretend it wasn't there. But I'd have looked inside.
That's tough to pretend it's not there. No, fuck.
I mean, that's the most infamous piece of evidence.
Oh, my God.
I mean, it came back from Chicago. I thought it came back with anything in there, maybe. I mean, that's stuff you can't close or, I mean, a weapon. I mean, you think he ditched that thing at the airport?
I have no idea where he ditched it, what he did with it. There's no doubt in my mind as to his innocence or guilt. And the only thing I want to clarify, you said the 2 alleged homicides. There was no alleged.
Oh, yeah.
It was they were definitely homicides.
Yeah, they were.
The homicide
alleged
is just
involvement.
That's just a definition. A homicide is just a definition of death at the hands of another.
So as you get, as we get further away from an event, there's more factual information comes out. I think people are more ready to be truthful. And there's one on OJ that is either on the History Channel or Discovery. And a guy that he knows says in the documentary, so if she hadn't have answered the door with a knife in her hand, she'd still be alive? And that he said, most likely, yes. I think somebody, when it's like you go over to somebody's house and they got a baseball bat in their hand and you're like, what the fucking, what you got the bat for? I mean, I don't know what you want. You're like, you don't know what I want. And then it turns you into, it turns into an adversarial.
Start things on that note.
Yeah. Right? I think you've seen it.
That it was my case.
Can people get away with murder these days?
Very tough. Very tough. And the biggest giveaway is they talk. Everybody talks.
Right.
Whether it be to your homeboy who you love, he'll die, take it to his grave. They don't take shit to their grave.
What police procedure that I think is brilliant is they put an informer in the cell either with the guy or on the cell next door, right? The guys want to talk. They talk
Sure.
to. Yeah, they're talking to an
They
informant.
talk, and now with social media, psh,
Yeah, forget it.
yeah, they talk on social media. They do a lot, so it's tough to get away with it today.
In Manson, Susan Atkins was in the cell with a woman that was like, I think she was an actress, but she was kind of like a prostitute, and then
Yeah.
she told her, and that woman was doing, and even as an older woman, she was still very attractive,
Yes.
So she had some information, and she said, "Call that sheriff over here. I got some information you might have," and that started the whole, because they didn't really know who. I mean, the police back there was different, but that was the
Well,
case.
Not
was a
bad
fucked up
mouthing, not bad mouthing any particular agency, but that was the one where the news people found that clothes that had been thrown over the side that cops had overlooked.
They didn't put the Bobby Beausoleil Topanga Canyon guy where they killed a guy, chopped off his ear. They didn't put. They wrote something on the wall in blood there, over there in the Cielo, and then over there by me in Los Feliz, La Bianca. They wrote in there, and nobody put them together. And Manson was at the La Bianca. He was in there, and then he left. Like they were down there, working on stuff. But I wanted that refrigerator. I don't know where it ended up. The one with the misspelled Helter Skelter on it.
Helter Skelter. That was a good book.
I could ask
By the
Charles,
way,
I said, but he passed. He was a big fan of mine. John Wayne, Frank Sinatra, and classic rock. All right, what do we have?
All right, speaking of classic rock, number one. Let's get into it here.
Oh my God! Hi, George. This is Rudy Salinas calling from Mission, Texas. Hey, I know you're a Kiss fan. Just wanted to know what's one of your favorite all-time Kiss songs and your favorite album. All right, George, thank you so much for your podcast. I appreciate you and Gil and all your staff. You got some great entertainment. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
What's that dude's name?
I didn't get it. I don't think he gave it. Maybe.
From Mission, Texas. Let's see. Were you ever into Kiss like that? You ever
No.
into rock?
No.
You were into the Midnighters?
I was at Midnighters,
and
Tierra, and all these
Tierra,
good music,
all
the
about those
60s,
type of
Temptations.
Brothers that don't talk.
Yeah.
One of them you checked out too, Rudy.
Rudy died this last year.
Yeah, man.
On his anniversary, went up to was celebrating his wedding anniversary. Went up to the hotel room a little tired, and then.
Yeah, that's you never know when it's gonna.
No, I remember watching them when they were the Salas brothers, little kids over in East LA.
And then they became Tierra, great song.
Yes.
And then they didn't talk as brothers, huh?
They had problems. They had personal problems between the familia, between the two brothers.
Yeah.
And so then they split. Rudy stood with the group, and Rudy continued to play. You didn't hear from Stevie much, and now Stevie is back in the fold, and now he's singing back with
But I
them
mean,
again,
all those
understand.
years go by that you let,
Sure.
Oasis with the Gallagher brothers. Those guys, Oasis, great, band, and the Supersonic. That documentary is awesome. And then 2 years ago, I went to go see the Who at the Hollywood Bowl, and that guy Liam opened up. The one that's the more of a puto than the other one.
Is it? I think Liam Gallagher. Is he the?
Yeah. And he went out there and he had these glasses on. This he would have been a good Chicano too. He had a buttoned up to the top. He's got his hands in his pocket and he sings kind of like this with these glasses on, and he just left the stage. He's like, "That's all, cunts." He walks up. And people are like, "What? What do you call us, cunts? That's all, you cunts." And he walks off, and it's like the end of the. Nobody really claps because they're like, "Hey, fuck you, call us that."
Yeah.
But he was great. But he's one of those guys that has he's just got this fucking attitude, man. Very British, like.
Always just had some sort of chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you ever entered a show like that? That's all kinds.
I called the lady a twat just less than a week ago. So
What did she say?
twat was silent. Twat not a Christmas. So let's see, Kiss. Yeah, let me see.
Kiss.
I became a Kiss fan when I saw them in 1973, either Don Kirshner's or in concert on ABC, and then they came out with they had some songs. I think maybe Rock and Roll All Night
Classic.
was a big one, and then they I went to go see him. It was my first concert in 1976 at the Forum. I think maybe Rock and Roll. Is that the one that I see? Then I see him now, and I go, which one's doing? Yeah, I think maybe Detroit Rock City or one of those. About a guy.
Detroit Rock City.
About a guy that was on the way to see the concert and he crashed, and they wrote a song about him.
Oh, I didn't know that's what that was.
So, yeah, you know, we were all Kiss freaks. That's what they didn't call them Kiss fans. They called you a Kiss freak. But I stayed loyal to. I stayed loyal to those guys my whole life. And then I think Paul got COVID.
Oh, really?
And then they canceled some dates. And then Gene got COVID. And
Gene's the guy with the big lengua, isn't he?
yeah,
He's the tongue guy.
and they suspended some dates. I think it's going to be really tough for. I mean, yeah, man. You know, you're talking about, 12,000, 14,000 people together in the same room. I mean, it's.
I mean, they just had the first weekend of college football, right? And there was like, I saw some 110,000 people at the Michigan or Michigan State game.
That's the one that were yelling, "Fuck Joe Biden."
Probably one of them.
What a country! What a country we're living in. Before you could agree to disagree. Now they're like,
They weren't saying recall Governor Newsom.
fuck. They weren't saying recall Governor Newsom. All that. We'll see what happens. But I mean, Governor Newsom only has a year left, maybe even less than a year, or maybe a year and plus. But let him finish, man. I mean, it's like we have so much. It started with Gray Davis, and it got worse. And then everybody now that is a governor of California, you're almost like walking the plank, man.
Yeah.
Like, who would want to be governor? Nah, you'd get back and do it again now. Let me in there. Ever since I left, everything went to shit.
I wanted to be chief of police. I really want to be chief. I did the interim thing in San Fernando. I want to be chief of police for city of El Monte. But there's not enough money right now to make me chief of police anywhere. I feel sorry for the guys that are working, because as soon as you're chief of police, half the people love you, half the people hate you, and you're just waiting for them to take you down.
Somebody's going to go after you.
Sure.
On the thing. There's a thing, it was on Facebook that I saw that a woman has a podcast, and then this guy was in there, and he said that he auditioned for a job as a writer on my show, and that the head of it is George Lopez is racist. And then this guy, who we don't remember, we didn't hire, he said that we didn't hire him because we didn't hire white people. And I mean, all of it is a lie. So, it's there. It's got nobody watching it, but it's still there. But everything that guy says is a lie. So I would challenge that guy, I don't know if he's watching this, to come on and tell me your story, because I think, somebody blatantly put lies out there, and the girl too. I mean, if you're going to have information be put out, have it even be remotely riveted in some truth, but that's a lie.
And where did this come from? What was
It was on
just a podcast you heard, or someone?
Yeah, no, so it's a podcast. I did an interview with a guy, and he says, in 2005 I came out to LA, and I was I had an audition to be a writer on this show, and they didn't hire me because I was white. It's like, but it comes to me, it doesn't, and it's a lie.
Yeah.
But as a matter of fact, we had more white writers than we had Latinos. We only had 2 Latino writers.
That's because they didn't know how to write.
White writers in Hollywood, I'm sure.
And you know what I mean? So it's like, that stays out there, and it's a lie. Like, I've done a lot of stuff that's been, on the line or over the line, and some I acknowledge and some I don't. But lies are lies, and that's a lie. I mean, So, I do a lot of good, but that for that guy to say that, and me to look at it, it's like, that's 100% of a lie. All right, what else?
Speak on it. All right, we got another one in the music realm. Here we go.
Oh my God! Hi, hey George, this is Bobby G from Salt Lake City, Utah. Love your podcast.
That's cool in Salt Lake.
Love Gil Carrillo.
Shout out.
But when I think of LA, I think of the band Los Lobos. I was wondering if you ever thought about having them on. Anyway, good show, man. I listen all the time. Appreciate you. Bye.
Yes, Salt Lake City's great. Los Lobos?
I know. I love Los Lobos. I just went to see him in concert 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
that's right.
I went to go see him 2 weeks ago.
Did you go backstage and say hello, or no?
No. We just wanted to get out of there by that time. It was late.
At the Greek.
At the Greek. It was a great show. Everybody.
I was gonna go, man. You know where I was in my room? I didn't think I was in my self-quarantine. There was some trapos ahí with a lotion. I saw my doorbell rings. They better watch out. There's one DoorDash guy that drives on a hot day. Oh my God. Up to a little bucket, little someone, a little agarra. Put him swimming in the pool. Yeah, Los Lobos. Yeah, we should hit those dudes up. And I know those guys. Known them for a long time. I have a pair of my glasses that I got at Oliver Peoples, and I always would buy like 2 or 3 of them. So I had these black ones. I went to go see him at the Greek years ago, and
the kind that Caesar wears.
The kind of Caesar wears. So I go, hey Caesar, I try these on. He goes, oh, these are nice. And I said, those are the ones that Jay-Z wears. So Jay-Z wears these big Daddy B's, Oliver Peoples, and he goes, oh, these are nice. I go, you can have them. I goes, what? For reals? Because, then I go, yeah. I mean, they just look perfect on him. And then he goes, mija, these are the ones JC wears. Fucking Z, motherfucker. JC. Those guys, and the guys even from Los Lonely Boys too, man. Good dudes. They took a little time off. I think they're coming back. They let us use the song in that Walking with Herb.
Oh, that's right. I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, and Ringo called me and said that they were, very moved by the movie and stuff, and that they thanked for being involved. But and even like that, that's friends. Who did it? Pat from Train wrote 2 songs and let us use "Calling All Angels." That's a relationship, of a friend, and then the relationship with those Lonely Boys. But if you try to do that without having a relationship with those guys, it's an impossible thing to get music in a movie unless you're paying up the ass. Like,
oh yeah, it's crazy expensive.
It's like ridiculous, man. Like if you want to use a song, I don't know, it could be.
I mean, easy, like even songs that maybe no one's heard of, easy 5 figures. Like once you're getting into, it's going to be in something, you probably want a semi-popular song anyway. It's going to cost you at least 6 figures.
So Lee Greenwood wrote, and I'm proud to be in my at least. So in 2005, I had a joke in my America's Mexican special, and I was using that song, and he wanted to know the words. They said George Lopez wants to use Proud to Be an American in his HBO special, but he wants to change the words. And then I had to write the words out and then send them to Lee Greenwood, and he read them and he approved them. You ready to read the words to you? That he approved?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. Can someone get these Mexicans the fuck away from me? And I probably stand up next to you, and I hear me proudly say, get them all out of America. God bless the USA. And he was like, yeah, I can sign up to that.
That was beautiful. I'm so happy you sung that.
Thank you. He said it's better when I do it in front of an audience. But I was doing that, just fucking around, and he's like, hey, I said, what did he say? No, he goes, no. He said, yeah, he loved it.
Yeah,
awesome, man.
I love that.
This is a joke, yeah.
That is great. I bet the internet will love that. Like I will speak on behalf of the internet. They will love it.
Yeah, so that they'll love that. Have fun with that. But part of the thing that criticism of me is, they still use the word racist, anti this, anti that. But you have to look at where I came. I came from Richard Pryor. I came from George Carlin, Dick Gregory, all those guys. So when people talk about cancel culture or whatever, I think it's almost too late to. You can't reinvent yourself, or too late to. Once the horse hits the water, change horses. This is the way it is. People like it. I saw a bunch of tickets. People that don't like it, don't go. And I won't call you.
Take your.
I mean,
your company took a lot of my money because I used to go see it. I had paid to see it at least five, 6 times.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, baby. All right. Well, we got a very hard hitting question here.
Gil.
Buckle.
Hey, yo, George, man, calling in from San Diego. Yeah, man, let's get right to it, man. I don't know what it is, man. It's like a routine for me, but I'm like a fucking chronic masturbator, man. I don't know what the hell is wrong with me.
Chronic.
I don't know what's going on with me. It's just like, what do I do, man? What do I do to fix it? Do I go cold turkey, Do I just fucking just stop it right away? Or do I do like the alcoholic shit, be like
kind of gradually slow down my roll, you know?
I got a simple answer. If it ain't broken, don't fix it.
Yeah, I think. Well, how many? What's chronic?
Yeah.
It sounded like, I mean, a couple times a day he was saying.
I mean, I don't know. Is it bad for you?
If you're
married,
a crime officer, lock me up. Right?
Shit. As long as he's doing it to himself and he's in private, who cares? I don't care if he does it 6 times a day.
I think when you start counting, it looks bad.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, you start saying, that's like 6 times in a day, man. What the hell?
He's got like a very sticky notebook that he's tracking it in.
Yeah, hand towels around. But is it bad for somebody to do that much?
I mean, people used to say, what was it, hairy palms, bad eyesight, but that was just sort of old wives' tales.
But also, what is it if you're, you know...
I know I caught my son. You know, I told him, I said, son, stop doing that. You'll need glasses. He said, hey, Dad, I'm over here.
What's in the bag? Don't fucking worry about it.
Yeah, I was just going to say that too. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think if you do when you're married, at least I know when I was married that she considered that being unfaithful to her.
Really?
I was with myself. Oh, man. The rules there were not since the fucking
like,
Alabama penitentiary.
It was like she convicted of thought crime.
It's awful. It was pretty bad in there. I'm glad I got out. 17 years, I did.
I would love to hear more from this guy, hear a little bit about why he thinks it's a problem.
Yeah, I don't think it's a problem.
I've
Yeah,
yet to see the issue here.
If he's not bothering anybody else, hey, it ain't no problem.
But what about medically? Is it medically an issue? Can you masturbate too much medically? Can you either pull a vein or, you know...
Tell him to use lotion.
Yeah, you can get like a friction burn or something.
But what about this? Does it make you desire things less, like a woman or a person or somebody? If you're doing that all the time, if you're satisfying yourself, does it affect your relationship you might be having with a wife or girlfriend or whoever?
It depends what he's thinking about when he's masturbating.
Right.
You know, I really can't answer that. And if he thinks it's maybe a problem, well, then seek professional help. But if not, if he's only bothering himself, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah, if he's like masturbating about the idea of like breaking up with his girlfriend, then maybe there's more issues at play here. But it depends.
As long as he's not thinking about some little kid.
But he says chronic, though. I mean, that's got to be high up, in the double digits maybe.
Wow.
But you don't want to be doing it by a window.
He's going to get hemorrhoids. He's going to get hemorrhoids.
You can't pull some little pebbles out of there, huh?
Well, he didn't leave his name either, I think wisely so. But our message to him is, what's the problem?
Our message is, WebMD. Let's look it up and see if...
There you go.
If it's...
If it ain't broke. Yeah.
Can we look it up and see if...
Actually, yeah, I can check that real quick.
Look and see.
You guys vamp for a sec. Let me see if it's on WebMD. Can you masturbate too much medically?
These guys, man, I mean... in my business, these guys have great products, and then they want to come on the podcast and, you know, launch. But, you know, this isn't a place to launch products. This is a podcast we talk about issues. So if this is, you know, no offense to people I'm doing business with, but if this is part of the launch, it's not, right? This would be something different. You wouldn't come on here to do a graduation speech. Fucking think of a better plan than using our platform here to launch shit. That's a line right there.
Our story.
All right. So according to Healthline,
I said that with the.
What's the website there? El Chingón?
No, todavía no ha salido. Here it is, right here. Look.
Ooh,
that's the one.
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Oh yeah, that's the one.
That's the one.
Oh, okay.
That one's gonna change the world. It's the first Mexican chocolate that takes its own stains out of underwear. Don't ask me how I did it. You can eat this chocolate, you can shit in your calzone todo surrado on your way to Barstow, change your underwear. Don't throw them away anymore. Just run them through some water and instantly, hi, I'm Joey Fix.
Let me buy. Put me down for a case right now.
The guy, hi, it's Phil Swift here. And this could take chorro out of your underwear with just a little water. Okay, what is it?
Okay, masturbation. Basically, despite this is according to Healthline.com. Despite the myths, there are actually no physical harmful side effects of masturbation. However, excessive masturbation can harm your relationships and everyday life.
There you go.
Other than that, masturbation is a fun, normal, and healthy activity.
You know, it can affect your. I had a joke where the doctor said, you know, your psychologist says, you and your wife have to make a date night. You know, have it be Wednesday night, and then the wife says, okay, don't forget. Tomorrow night, man, it's Wednesday already. Yes, and don't jack up. Don't tell me what not to do. Don't tell me what not to do. Yeah, I think it's a gateway thing. It leads to you tying up your huevos, you know, and doing stuff to yourself, putting a carrot in your culo, one of those, you know, right? And then putting it back in the market.
But carrot in your culo gives you better vision.
It'll open your eyes up for sure. What else do we have?
All right.
And, you know, we've had some pretty good guests, I think, you know. Anna Navarro was great. Oscar was amazing. And then Oscar getting the COVID, so we want everybody to be safe and wish Oscar.
And we wish him the best.
Yeah, wish him the best.
Good health.
Absolutely.
I was trying to see if I can get an answer from him on.
You know, I wanted to make I posted something on Instagram, you know, wishing him well. It was great.
Yeah.
And I wanted to send him a personal message. Hey, I have a big pair of calzones waiting for you to come out. But right now may not be a time when he's ready for a funny line, you know.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
On.
He's better. He's still a little bit weak, but he's feeling better.
Good.
That's great. That's great. We love to hear that.
What is that? Rubbed Aronica Humming. Okay. Awesome. It says my humor's back, but I'm still a little bit better. Okay, good. Good. Yeah.
Shit, maybe I got a shot at him then.
Hey. Yeah. Good, man. So we heard from Oscar. He's good.
Good.
Awesome. We'll follow up. You guys want another?
Yeah.
All right. Throwing back to the George Lopez show days here.
Hey, George, huge fan. I know you hear that a lot, but I had a question. What was your favorite scene to shoot for the George Lopez show? Huge fan of that show. Used to watch it with my mom. Thank you.
Wow. Well, first of all, I mean, all of it was kind of a bit of a. Nobody ever thought, even myself, you know, never thought that it would. You know, I told you about that thing in the paper. Not thinking we'd get past 4, then 9, then, you know, a full season. But I think all in all, you know, I knew that it took 88 episodes to get into syndication. So I remember the president of Warner Brothers told me at about like 13, because I had an issue, and I went to him directly, a man-to-man. And he said that I could either be a crazy actor and think everybody was out to get me, or I could go back and go to work. And I said, I'll go back and go to work. But that guy legitimately turned out to be detrimental to the show. He's not the president of Warner Brothers TV anymore. But
didn't sound like he had the best bedside manner based on that conversation.
He was, you know, we sold a reboot to Netflix, and he squashed it maybe 5 years ago. So when people ask me, oh, you know, you should reboot your show, we were way ahead of it. And this guy legitimately made a point to purposely not have the reboot ever happen.
Was there any sort of rationale, or he's just someone who had approvals and he said no?
No, I think I just think he never really was a fan of the show. I think, you know, he got to a point where it was doing well, and I mean, he pretended to be a fan. I mean, that's kind of what the thing is. He pretended to be a fan of the show, but then in reality, he said, you know, have you guys go and sell this? You know, have them come back and let's talk. And we did. And it was like, it's not going to happen.
And so the guy who told you, like, don't think everyone is out to get you, was in fact a guy who was out to get you.
That's what, there you go. The guy who said, don't
smile at your face all the time. They want to take your place. Backstab.
That's right. So he was responsible for that. But I think let's see, there was 88. I wore a Dale Jarrett's NASCAR jersey in the show. It was, cool. So on 88, so I could always tell when 88 was. But I think, you know, the ones that Sandra were in, because she was such a big influence on the show and like really happened because of her. So to see her on that set with me and her, and knowing how it just started from just like, hey, come in, let's sit down and see if, you know, what we got here, from that to all of that. And even now, I was on the doctor. It's on this morning. It was on.
I watch it.
It'll be on forever.
It was a great show then. It's a great show now, and I still watch it.
That's still a good sign of the. Yeah, it'll be on forever. When I'm gone, it'll still be around. Thank God.
I kind of want to ask the flip side of that, which was, were there any episodes or scenes that ended up being like unexpectedly brutal, or something crazy happened on the day or last minute or anything like that?
Let's see. I think early on we did a show where the guy was right around 9/11. I think after in the beginning of the show that the guy was. It turned out to be a guy that was on that show Claus, and he was in a few Sandra Bullock movies.
Like the recent
Jason
show,
Altoon. On Jason, I think. And he was a Arab employee that had taken flight lessons, and we worked in an airplane parts factory, and my mom was profiling him as a terrorist, and then she brought him, we took him to dinner, and he came to dinner, and she's trying to grill him, and then she says, I love to. He goes, I love to fly and see the pyramids. And he goes, no, in Vegas, right by the Paris Hotel and the MGM. There's a pyramid. Mm-hmm. And then the mom looked at me and she goes, "Am I the only ones whose eyebrows are raised?" And I said, "Yeah, because you drew them on like that." But yeah, those things. And then I remember the guy at Warner Brothers, the guy was in the note, says Warner Brothers does not want to do this show because it was about something it was a comedy about something that had really happened. And
that episode, right? Or they were talking about your show in general. And
I think I fired him in the end of the show, but going back, I wish I hadn't fired him. Like we won a couple of awards for the show, but I wish I would have believed him. But I think they made me. In the writing of it, they made me let him go. Where I wish I would have said, I believe that what he's telling me is true. And we're just profiling him like we profile other people. But that was one that, the other guy, I'd come up with the idea with my partner, and then he took his name off the script.
Oh, really?
And then it was just me. And then, Warner Brothers doesn't want to do it. He took his name off the script. All of a sudden, you look at the episode, and it says written by, where before it had like 5 names. Now it's just my name. And you're like, hey, you motherfuckers.
And it says only George Lopez.
Only George Lopez. And then it won some awards from the...
It has the werewolves that stand up.
That's right. Yeah. And I said, we're still doing it. And I like the show.
Yeah. Well, and for people who aren't familiar, taking your name off a script is a big deal.
A huge deal, because it's in perpetuity. Like, those things, they air. I'm not even sure.
And that affects your money.
I'm not sure if even that particular episode, I could see how that particular episode would not see the light of day these days because of what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard of people pulling episodes in wakes of like school shootings and stuff like that, similar sort of piece.
And we did school shootings there on the show. We did steroids. Stacy Keach was my daughter's boyfriend's father. He was great. Stacy Keach is fucking amazing. Can't believe I got Stacy Keach to be him, the guy, man. Such a great actor, man.
To this day, my wife makes fun of me because I used to call him Stacy Keach.
Yeah, Keach. Yeah. What is it? I don't know.
It's Casey Steach. Stacy Keach.
Yeah, Steach. Oh, yeah.
And I had it backwards.
Yeah, we had some pretty good actors on there, man. And the thing about my show was if I was going to all these Laker games, and if I saw somebody at a Laker game, I would say to do my show.
Nice.
The guy from the Green Mile, who was my buddy,
the big guy?
Yeah, man, he passed.
He passed.
Oh, what is his name?
Michael Clark Duncan.
Yes.
I saw Michael Clark Duncan, and I asked him to be on the show, and then I asked everybody if they golf, and he said he didn't golf, and then I think he was dating Amorosa back then, and he started to golf, and he really liked it, man. Like I remember he came to the tournament with her, and they played with the Riviera, and we'd see him at the games, and me and mine, I'd take mine, and he was a really, really sweet dude, man, and he had a heart attack and passed really young, and he did an episode where he was like a ghetto dentist, and you went to go see him, he had a do-rag on, because I was trying to get a better dental plan for my kid needed braces, and I went in there, and the 2 brothers were like, "What's wrong with our dentist?" And you go in there, And he and I get into it about whose childhood was worse. You know, he goes, my mom used to put me in the closet so you could go party. You do it like that. I said, oh, yeah, well, my neighbor touched me inappropriate at my no-nos. And then the wife goes, no, that's a lie. I go, I'm in it to win it.
Fuck, I'll lie.
But him and Dog the Bounty Hunter was on where he was the neighbor. He grabbed my jacket and tore my jacket. I was trying to walk off.
No way.
And I said, as I walk off, grab me. I had this jacket on. He come back. He fucking tore it.
Oh my God!
Fucking tore the collar, tore the sleeve, and he didn't do anything but just grab me, man. That was the same one Villaraigosa was in.
He made a comeback, Dog the Bounty Hunter, because he was off the air for a long time.
He said he got the N-word pass. There is no N-word pass. He goes, hey, use the N-word. He goes, yeah, I got a pass. From who?
Yeah, you'll have to show me the documentation.
Yeah, they're gone. They can't get a pass for that. But anybody that I saw, who else? Barbara Eden. I Dream of Jeannie. Batman.
Jeannie.
Batman was on. He was a lawyer. Oh, he was great.
I Dream of Jeannie was bad. She used to look good.
Her too.
Wait, like Adam West Batman?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then everybody had him signing Batman stuff, and he comes into my room and goes, George, listen, old chump, I feel like I'm a bit at a convention. I'd like to not. I'm coming back next week, and I want to come back, but I don't want to be able to look at this like I'm signing things all day. So I said, all right, we got it.
Yeah.
So I had to tell everybody, stop getting them to sign shit. I said, hey, but you're fucking Batman, eh? But he was quite older too, man. I think he was in his 90s. Oh, wow. But he was, and he did my talk show. He did a thing where the Batmobile. Oh man, wow. Man.
I bet his whole life has felt like a convention.
I think
since
so.
he was Batman.
And even though they made Batmans, I mean, still he was the one that he couldn't fly.
He was the only one that was real.
He was the only one that was real.
So true.
And that hole where they used the Bat caves over there by. If I went hiking, I'd go look for it up by my house.
Is that right?
Remember they would come down?
Yeah.
And I would be like, where is that thing? And if you look look it up right there, it's not far from my house, man. And I still want to go see it, but I don't know for what bitch fucking oil. It's a fucking hole in the. Probably go in there about to bone each other in there. Yeah, come on in here. The little bad boys are in here.
Bad vato and bad bitch.
You know what I mean? They're probably in there. Fucking tell you to come out todo rompido with a closed eye.
Call me Bad Ruca. Here
it's
I am.
over there in Los Feliz.
Is that it? Right
Is that it right there? Yeah, look.
So Bronson Canyon in Griffith Park. Here, go.
You go in there and culiar in there. Look at that. There's even some people
looking at an image of
that's it, right? That's is that where the car would come out right there?
Straight in, in Griffith Park, known as a filming location for many films and TV series, especially westerns and science fiction.
I ain't going in there.
Oh, good.
Are we good? What else?
I got one more, a little fun one to end on. How's that?
This is good. All these are good, huh? The recaps, we'll get somebody in there. Who else?
Yeah, again, call in, keep leaving voicemails.
We'll get Burt Ward. I think I'm doing some infomercials.
818-533-1845.
How about Catwoman?
818. Did she still alive? How about Cat Bad Girl? Ay. Oh my God.
I didn't want to say that.
Remember that one? Remember you didn't know she was on until the motorcycle went by?
I was just passing gas in case my wife's watching.
Yeah, hey, listen, we're going to go back to third grade. We'll go back past Bad Girl.
All right, one more.
The heads of war off the
George,
sketch.
hey, it's me from San Diego. Hey, man, I got to ask, what happens when the aliens finally land down on Earth, man? You know? I mean, what goes through people's minds when they see the Martians come down in UFOs? What is the first thing that happens, in your opinion?
He goes on for a little bit, but he just
feed him fentanyl.
Yeah, leave him some cookies with fentanyl in them.
Yeah.
Man.
Where do you guys stand on aliens? Are you believers, truthers? There's something out there.
I believe that there's something out there.
I don't care about it. I got enough problem with the people down here.
Well, what about all the spirits in my house? Like, I mean, they're not there anymore. But
you take down that painting yet? The one looks like the devil on your wall.
I know, but you know that was not like I live alone, man. I mean, that was really something. The orbs and the words.
Alone.
Yeah. Just me and my little Lubriderm. You know, I make it look like I eat clam chowder, but I just order. Because you'll be like, hey, fucking cochino, what kind of goddamn Red Lobster in here? You know, I try to make it look like I at least civilized, because you have the same lady coming to the house. You know, she knows a lot of different sights and smells.
She had to deal with some spirits of her own.
It's like, you know, I'm driving the car. It's like, oh, my fucking towel is in the bed. Fuck. You try to go back. It's like why OJ dropped the fucking glove, man. You're like, fuck, I dropped the fucking glove. Fuck me. It's got my fucking DNA all over it. It's all crunchy. Fucking glove was like this, man.
It's like in Home Alone.
I mean, it's not like you can you can put it back on. This thing was all with my meco, it looked like a goddamn fucking mud pie with whipped cream on top. A dark brown towel with crema.
You could use your
I'll be at Match Bud next
You
weekend.
could use your towel as a scraper for your sartén.
Híjole, man. Have you left my hand towel ahí during like when the mosquitoes are out? Like you just take it to where there's bad mosquitoes, like North Carolina, and you put it out there in the middle of the street. The next day they'd be like, "I'm going to thank you. We tried to get rid of them 100 years. Boy. They're all on that towel. That son of a bitch. I don't know what you use on there, man, but they're all gone. We want some back. It's killing the fauna in our town."
It's my special recipe.
Man, bad.
Oh my goodness.
You have to pretend it's other things, to not look so sucio.
Yeah.
So aliens.
So I don't know, man. There's.
It won't be good. That's my.
Is there a Slender Man? You believe
Well, you know
believe
what?
that there's Slender Man?
They put out.
No.
They're now putting out UFOs exist. You know, they're saying
you know
UFOs.
what?
So
And they've been watching you. There's been UFOs since the 50s. That old
Yeah.
black and white where the guy's like, "What the fuck is that?" And they're going and you can see it. And they are releasing more information.
Yeah.
So
something's out there. I call them UFOs. So the UFOs are out there, but I don't give a shit. You know, alien. There's like I said, I got enough problems right here.
But listen,
on tierra
if they ever
firme.
come down and want to take someone up and fuck them and then run tests on them, there's a guy in San Diego that would be the prime candidate.
Hey, he's a volunteer.
Chronic. Beam him up.
He'll give you a DNA sample.
All right. Thanks, Gil.
All right.
Chingón como siempre.
That's good.
Great. That does it for today. Keep leaving voicemails. And,
Keep leaving voicemails. And what are we getting into?
Yeah, anything to plug? Upcoming dates or anything?
No. But you know, let's talk about what. Let's talk about if you leave messages about what it's been like to be in COVID. Like, even if you've unfortunately lost people who have.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your lives are impacted now.
Well,
Regular people, not me, because I still travel. But what's it like on the ground, on a daily basis?
I don't know. I lost within a month. I lost two brother-in-laws, from COVID. I lost my compadre and his brother, who I went. I grew up with his brother. We went to school together. We went to Vietnam. We did everything together. Then this guy got his stuff together. He got his life together, and he became a construction guy. Had his own business. Got his license. Got everything he needed. He's remodeled my house, and him and his brother died within 2 weeks of each other.
And what happened, man? They got it?
They got it. And my compadre, which was his older brother, sat there and said, "You know what? I watched my younger brother suffer when they wanted. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to let him put me on this. I'm not going to let it take its course." And he was in the hospital, and he called me up just a few days before he died, and we had a talk. And he was just saying, I'm not going to give up, Copa. I'm here. And it was all good, and I thought he was going to come out of it.
Did he get vaccinated?
I don't know if he was vaccinated or not.
Listen, man. I mean, that's a choice, but
was it before the vaccine?
No, no. The vaccine was out, and so I don't know. I really don't know if he got vaccinated. I know he did not want to suffer like his brother, and he said finally said, "I'm not going to do it." And that was it. And this guy was one of the toughest guys I knew. I mean, he was from the barrio. Hey, compa, I'm from the barrio. I'm here, I'm there. And I remember I stopped some guy in Old Pico, guy with a gun. He said, look, compa, you're always telling me, hey, call the cops. He said, look at that guy. And he's walking down the street with a rifle. So I went out there. I said, hey, what's happening, Holmes? Hey, you know who I am? He says, oh, yeah. He says, you know my carnal? I said, yeah, I know your little carnal. That's a good-looking gun you got there. You mind if I see it? And he let me see it. I said, is it loaded? He says, no. I said, you know what I do for a living? He says, no. I says, I'm the Huda, brother. And so let's see if it's loaded. And it started ejecting. I said, you know what? You're not getting this gun back. And I said, what do you mean? He looks at me and said, what do you mean I'm not getting that gun back? That's my gun. I'm taking that gun. And my compa was right there. He says, hey, look, he's a cop. He's got to go by the law. I don't. I'll kick your fucking ass right now.
Wow.
He says, sure. I'm from the barrio, brother. I'll kick your fucking ass right now. I told my wife, I had already told her, call the cops. Call the station. She yelled.
Where was he going? He was just walking through the hood?
He had picked the gun up from one house and was now walking through the hood from someplace else. And I knew I knew the house that it came from.
Oh, wow.
So I got the gun. His homeboy came and said, let it go, brother. Let it go. I got the gun. I took it down to the guy that he took from this house. I took it down to his dad's house. And I said, here you are. Here's the gun. This is what happened. This is what I got. And he says, thank you, mijo. He said, but next time, fuck him. Don't give him a break. Take the gun. Take him. Break the fucking gun. Take them all to jail. I don't give a shit. This is fucking wrong.
Yeah.
And so that's the way it was. This is my compa. He was a tough. When my wife's brother, we're all camping together at Lake Nacimiento. He had, at that time, he had a little travieso son. And son's getting in trouble. My brother-in-law's yelling at him. And my compa is right there saying, fuck him up, compa, fuck him up. Don't let him get away with that shit.
Wow.
And so
that's what I do my thing.
That's the kind of guy he was. Had the heart of gold. When they shot Tom Pullman, a deputy from East LA Station, got killed while on patrol. My compa called my house right away because it just said deputy shot, died, no name. Called my house. I answered the phone. He cried on the phone. He said, I was just checking. If it was you, it's not you. He says, and let me tell you right now, I don't give a shit what happens. I'd rather visit you in jail than I would visit you at the cemetery. That's how much I love you, compa. You do what you got to do to stay alive.
That's amazing.
And he died of COVID. Right after his brother says, I ain't gonna do it. His brother was a Marine, my buddy that I grew up with. He was a hardcore Marine, Vietnam veteran, everything. So I know a lot of people. I won't say a lot. I know several people, including family members, that have passed from it. It was their time.
Man, it's awful.
It was their time.
All right, let's, if you got stories, if you're talking about, it was beautiful, man, but it's a tough thing. It's a tough thing to see, have relationships that long and have to see it go.
It is.
Go like that.
It is. The guy that broke me in homicide, the guy that taught me everything I know, that made me the good homicide investigator that I was. I was the best man at 2 out of 3 of his weddings. 2 out of 3 of his marriages. I did more shit with this guy. We got more. It was just a great guy and had a heart of gold. The last marriage lasted 25 years until he died. It was a great one. She's a great lady. But Don Garcia passed away from COVID. That's probably one of the only adult males. When they told me, I cried.
Yeah.
I cried. And she just recently gave me a pillow. And the pillow is a Hawaiian shirt that Don Garcia wore.
Oh.
And there's a...
Wow.
Tear me up.
There's a message on there that said he wore this. And we both cried together when she gave it to me because she wanted me to have this.
Man, that's really something, though. I think it's a great gift. To give somebody something like
so
that.
thoughtful.
It made me cry. I love the lady. God bless her.
If Momo goes, we'll make comforters.
That's the note we needed. All right, thanks everyone.
That's what it, the show.